Here we go. Listen to the audience. Look at them heads. Just watch them heads right there and see what happens as they ramp it up. There it is.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall. Something
Howdy
in my
ho.
blood starts
Welcome to another Something in the Water.
I'm Uncle Dave Griffin.
And I'm Sean Clark, and we're glad to be here in another universe. This is number 96. Boy, we're just pedaling faster and faster towards 100. And that's going to be a doozy, folks. All we got to say about that is this. It's going to be a doozy. It will be fun.
This episode is going to come out
Soon.
soon. On what day?
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you something. It'll be my birthday the day that it comes out.
Ha ha. How old you going to be? 96?
Woo-hoo!
Just like this episode?
Just like the episode. No, I'm looking towards 100. I'll be 71. The day that y'all are watching this, I will be 71. And I still got a fire burning inside.
He's pointing at a fire.
Talking about the fireplace over there. We run that fireplace year round here at the Something Water Studios.
It's digital.
It's more of a statement than it is an actual. It's not functional
It's functional.
as far as heat goes, unless you turn the heat on.
It's a heat
Right now, it's just picture.
So how you feel about 71?
Oh man,
What changed in 70?
Let me think.
What's the pros and cons of turning 70? How was
70?
your 70 played out?
Uneventful, pretty much. Just carrying on, same old, same old. I really don't feel any tireder. Just spend a lot more time with my daddy, who's fixing to turn 97 in September. And so that is kind of a eye-opening experience as far as, this, your own father, you pretty much, you got the similarities, and that you can see body build, whatever, and I sit there with him and see me in 26 years, if I make it that long. Yeah, man, heavy.
Well, 70's the new 40.
70's the new 40.
That means I'm still a teenager.
You're a young buck. Well, yeah, you've been having to do the same thing with your folks.
Yeah. Y'all must have better genes. Y'all further along than we are.
Well,
going through the same stuff.
No, my daddy never had. Well,
your daddy never had jeans?
He wears them every day. Yeah. Here's what's funny now. One of the things I picked on, this has been going on for about 3 months now, where me and my brother, Gary, who's 3 years older, and my younger sister, Deb, who's 7 years younger than me. So we've been splitting shifts, taking care of Daddy, and one of the things that come to my attention out there was that he had a shipment of toilet paper that we're trying to run through so we can buy some soft one.
It's some hard toilet paper.
It's a hard down toilet paper. My brother Gary called it John Wayne toilet paper.
Yeah, because it don't take shit off nobody.
Well, I was kind of thinking we need a moral for this story. We need an advertising slogan for the Duke toilet paper.
The Duke.
I'm thinking this. I got thinking about it. I said, well, Stumpy, what did you come up with? We got to sell this paper. Well, how about this, Duke?
Duke.
Let Duke. For all your Duke, use Duke. Toilet paper. Made from
It's rough and tough and don't take.
made from 100% authentic sequoia trees. Remember, the bark is as bad as the bite. Well, that sounds good, Stumpy. Yeah, it's painful.
The toilet paper?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's painful.
it'll take off more than the.
It'll rub your ass wrong.
It'll take more. It'll take off more than the excrement.
Oh,
It'll be. You'll be.
rawhide.
There you go, jumping channels. Old Duke, he was the movie man. And Rawhide was TV show. I don't guess John Wayne ever did any
TV shows.
TV shows other than guests on Glenn Campbell or something like that. Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour or a talk show or something. He didn't have his own TV series. He was a movie man. Yeah. He was a good one. That's something else. Every time I go out to Daddy's, we sit there with the Dish Network, and there's a lot of Western channels on that.
Yeah, that's what my dad's watching.
The Cowboy Network, RFD, all kinds of movie networks where it's devoted to Gunsmoke TV episodes, Gunsmoke, Rawhide, Wagon Train.
Yep.
All of them, Bat Masterson, Tombstone, Death Valley Days, all them episodes that I used to watch as a kid. And the movies are good, too. There's some from the 50s, some I've never seen, some from the 40s, black and white. 50s started getting into Technicolor, or VistaVision. That's what it was, and it's a damn fine screen colorization. It was not as authentic as it was. The blues were bluer, the greens were greener, and the browns were browner.
Technicolor?
It was VistaVision was what a lot of those early to late 50s films were shot in, and you can tell a difference. It's almost like colorized version, before it started looking realistic.
Yeah.
They're great. I was watching just last night. I was with him, and we watched a 1964 movie that I saw when I was 10 years old in the summertime of '64 at the Ritz Theater downtown Waycross. I remembered it was called A Distant Trumpet. It starred Troy Donahue was the lead role in it. And it was set in the West, cavalry days, and cavalry against the Apaches. And I remember the theme song from it and everything. Me and Gary and James Cock and all of our cousins, one side or the other, would hit town on Saturdays at the movie, at the picture show. And we'd spend the whole day down there. It was great. But that was one of them, 1964. And it. The trumpet, a distant trumpet. And in the movie was a that I did not realize long ago, but caught it last night, was old Bobby Bear, the country music singer.
Yeah.
I love him. He played a role in the movie, and he got dishonorably discharged because he deserted. That's a good way to get your face in the movie and get out quick before the Indians come.
Bobby Bear.
Bobby Bear sang Miller's Cave, 500 miles away from home, which my wife, Aunt Lynn, learned on her ukulele at summer camp or a Girl Scout camp out at Lawrence Walker Lake. And she was so emotional while she was playing it in her bunk bed. She was crying the whole time because she was homesick.
Oh.
And I'm 500 miles away from home, away.
Didn't he sing
Detroit City.
Another Man Done?
Marie Laveau.
Marie Laveau.
And there was another one that he sang right close. Drop Kick Me Jesus.
Through the field.
Goalposts of life or goalposts of heaven?
Life.
Goalposts of life. And who? I forgot. I remember somebody wrote that I researched lately. Drop Kick Me Jesus through the goalposts of life. I wonder if that was. I did. I wonder if that was Ray Wiley Hubbard or. I can't remember. Here's another one that I learned today. I listened to the radio. 1990s video. No, early 80s MTV, VH1. One of the first video pioneers, Greg Kihn. The Greg Kihn Band. Our Love's in Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
Baby.
Uh-huh.
And that was 83. 81 was his first hit, was
What was that? That was it.
Well, the breakup song.
Yeah.
It says, "We don't find time anymore." I do that one, so I'll be able to pull that out this weekend and say, here is in tribute. I don't like it when they die, but it always gives you an opportunity to say something about a song before you play it.
Who died?
At a gig, Greg Kihn.
Oh, he did die.
Yeah, you say, yeah, I guess everybody's heard the news now about Jimmy Buffett. And so you say, here's one in honor of him. That makes the people really feel close.
Like, stop doing this.
Why you got to rub it in?
We're glad he's dead.
Yep.
I did, I never do any Jimmy Buffett. And when he died, we played at Tipsy's, and I was kind of messing around on stage, and I did, played the
Margaritaville
little lick. And then from the office, Susan was like, "You're playing that tonight, right?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I can." And she's like, "You should." And I was like, "All right." And then everybody gave me crap about it. Like, why'd you do that? Like, everybody, like, people I didn't know, like, don't play that crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well,
Got to do what I got to do.
I mean, I kind of enjoyed playing it just because I was like, yeah, this is the only time I'm going to play this song. You know, like,
Yeah, I like.
here's your brown eye girl. Let's go. You know?
I like Pirate Looks at 40. That's backside. I mean, that was a. I don't know if it was a hit, but
That's the one ever.
Mother Ocean.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one that grabs him by the. And I always liked that. And Come Monday
Come Monday.
was a real desolate song. People like that. So this is our first podcast since y'all opened up for Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
No, we did.
It was good.
We didn't do a podcast about it already?
We did a podcast talking about it.
I thought we watched the videos, but we didn't do that, did we?
No. Boy.
That was just me and you hanging out.
I'm going to tell you something. As a eyewitness, being there, they skint it back. And I was there talking to the crowd, some people, meeting people in the crowd, front row people, and all before the thing started. And we just chatting and stuff. And there's a lot of older folks there. It's kind of like Blackberry Smoke's crowd is a wide one, just like y'all. You know, y'all appeal to young and old. And when I say old, I mean people younger than me. But y'all are old too.
We're old. I'm old.
But anyhow, the baby boomer generation, y'all appeal to a lot of that. And so does
I think that's the
Blackberry
last
Smoke.
generations that still like music. Like all these new
The other ones,
just coming up.
they're
Like,
just kind of like, so
I don't need music. I just got an app on my phone.
we needed it. We needed it.
Yeah,
And
we still
because
need
we were only dosed it from 3 to 7 p.m. on the radio. You know, that was the pop music of the 60s was from 3 to 7. And records. The radio and records was the only place we could get it back in our day. So it was kind of like doled out, sparsely. And you'd hear it on the radio, you like it, you'd run down to the record store and buy the record, the 45, you bring it home, play the hell out of it. And then you'd be listening to the radio the next day. What's new? What's next? Then get older, 16, I'll start buying albums and getting into it that way. But nowadays, Gen XYZ, it's so damn there, They don't have to wait on it. That's their thing. That's why they're so bored and disinterested. Is they say, I'll deal with that later. Right now, I'm on a TikTok.
Taking pictures of what I ate.
Right now, I'm on influence. Yeah, it was a necessity to us, It was a need for us. It's a damn past tense luxury nowadays. XYZ. But they nailed it. The crowd, we were sitting there just meeting new people,
It was pretty crazy.
It
Sold
was
out
full.
show.
It was a Singer Theater in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, probably 1,000-seater, and it was slap full. And the people we'd talk to on the front row, we'd get around to it. Yeah, that's our son going to play in this opening act. He's going to be playing that dang pine box right there. And they'd go, ooh. Handed out some festival business cards to people. And while y'all were backstage watching that clock get closer and closer to 8. And I'm sure it was a little bit like, adrenaline. anxious, not from a scared point of view, but just from a adrenaline point of view. Your adrenaline starts kicking in before you even go out there.
That definitely was there, but I don't think it would. I was way better having Connor up there with me than like those opening up for Leon Russell's solo. That was pretty nerve-wracking.
That was something.
I was so nervous on that first gig that I was outside of my body, looking at myself, going, "Look what you did to us."
Look what you did to us.
Like when me and Connor walked out, we just looked at each other and we were like, big-eyed, like, "Oh, here we go." And I was like, "We play these songs 4 or 5 times a week. Let's go do it." You know, we just went out there.
Yeah, but y'all hit it with full force. It was like, damn! It sounded like a damn hurricane had just slammed into the room. You know, it was like boom in your face, and I'm sure that the crowd, many of them having never heard y'all, was kind of like jolted, like, and looking at each other or staring at y'all and saying, "How can that much sound be coming out of that?" And at the end of the song, it was like, "Ah, woo!" And I think you said maybe 4 words.
Yeah,
right after that first song, y'all said, "Y'all ready for some smoke?"
I said, "Y'all ready for the smoke show?"
Y'all ready for the smoke? He said 6 words, and I said, "You damn right." That's all you needed to do.
I was talking about blackberry smoke.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be like, "We the smoke show."
Yeah, right. I knew that.
Well, I felt like that after I said it.
No,
like,
they all knew it. Y'all ready for the smoke show?
Hey, pull up one of those Paul Campbell videos off of
Yeah, I hadn't
Facebook.
seen them.
You hadn't seen those?
I hadn't seen Paul.
Lynn's is great because you got the whole thing.
Lynn went live the whole thing.
Yeah. But Paul Campbell, who we stayed with the night before.
Paul Campbell and Lorraine Flanders.
He had a really nice
friends.
camera that zoomed in pretty good. Those were pictures taken from that show by the photographer that was traveling with Blackberry Smoke, Andy Sapp.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he took some good ones.
He was like crawling around behind the stage. He's like, Paul's like, "Now the guys will be taking pictures. Don't let it weird you out." He's gonna be crawling around.
I spent a lot of the show right next to Paul Lee, back there running sound.
It was real good to see him.
Uh-huh.
That's not it. That's keep on going. Keep on going.
Mm. Yeah, y'all got some good advertising shots from
Should be
Andy.
coming up. Might be in that, actually. If you go back up, I think it's in...
Oh, yes.
One of them liable to be a video.
No, wait. This is... No, this is the pictures that the dude took. Andy Sapp, but... Sorry. There they are.
Hey.
There's the photographer.
There's Andy. Everything was so tight, man. Y'all's harmony was on point. Nothing sounded half-assed. Nothing sounded scared. Nothing. It was just a visual force and sound. I mean, it looked like y'all was having fun. Looked like y'all was just. It was just a full-on assault, visually and sonically.
We've been playing so much that, and doing like 3-hour shows 4 or 5 times a week.
A hell of a lot of confidence.
And you got to narrow that down to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That was hard to do. That was the hardest part. It was like, what not to play? It's like, well, we can't play this one. We can't play that one. So we just picked the best of the best.
Yeah.
Put it on Hellcat. I like the audience
Yeah.
reaction.
The same thing when Sean does it, what I call his Mexican machine gun.
It's Connor. Here we go.
Slinky. Swampy.
There's a hill pad on the right.
Little smoky.
A little smoke.
Ain't nobody hanging around. Better get yourself together.
When Sean does that Mexican machine gun,
You can hear you say that on Lynn's video. You're like, there it
it
is.
never fails. Never fails. At the end of it, when they build it up, build it, and then they hit that, drop the bottom out, everybody goes, or at least one, you'll get at least one. Woo! But usually a bunch of them. You remember how that came about? Did you just? It probably just came about innocently. And,
Yeah, we,
and you decided
It came about naturally.
keep using it.
We were a 4-piece, so we had the solos, which is just the same progression. But I guess over time, like playing live, that I would just start
Come
going
to
fast.
you, come back to the rhythm, and you do that.
I would just do that, and while they solo,
Oh, okay.
like that I
Yeah.
put that under there, and then when it dwindled down to me and Connor, that was the
Even,
kinda-
even more important.
It takes the place of
Yeah,
having a
it's
solo.
very powerful. Also, y'all almost have trademarked it. I don't know if it, I don't follow everybody, but in the context of the Pine Box Dwellers, it is something that the people
It's gonna happen.
expect.
Yeah.
The people expect it, and they get excited when it starts.
Well, it's kind of a one-trick pony thing, but
Not really. I think
you
it's
can't put it in every song, and we got it in a few
you got it in
already.
several, but still, it's just y'all have coined the phrase. Here it goes. Nope.
But they already get into it,
Yeah.
and they don't. That was the crazy thing to me. I didn't expect the reaction that we got, because they don't know who we are. They don't know these songs we're playing them, and we hadn't even got to the cool parts of the songs yet, and they're already into it.
Right.
Kind of cool.
It's a testament to the song. The
You
arrangement.
helped me write this one and a lot of other
Yeah, I
ones.
remember this the day my wife kicked me out.
Well, we got something out of it.
But I don't think that was addressed in the song. Here we go. Listen to the audience. Look at them heads. Just watch them heads right there and see what happens as they ramp it up. There it is.
We ain't got to watch the rest of those.
Well, it's
I just like to hear the cheering. I don't like looking at myself much.
it's and you throw that age factor in there again, and this y'all's music is pulling from
I told
the
you, man.
best.
I told you, man. That AIDS cleared up.
Y'all's music pulls from the best of the roots, everything from blues to country to even 60s rock. There's there's elements out of the '60s in y'all's songs.
Yeah, a guy
that-
told us that in the. Go ahead.
Well, that the crowd,
Yeah.
the age of the crowd there instantly picks up on it, or if not picking up on it somewhere in the back of their minds, they're saying, I can't put my finger on it, but they've heard Eric Burden and the Animals or something,
Right.
you know, and y'all pick up on that.
This guy told me in the lobby that
There it is. What's your rider? We'll take green M&Ms and Jack Daniels.
yeah. But this guy told me that he's like, man, you guys sound like at times you sound like the Beatles, at times you sound like
Petty.
Wilco, at times you sound like whatever. And I was like, yeah, we love all that stuff. And he goes, but you didn't sound like any of it at the
Yeah.
same time. Like,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah, that's like that song.
he's like, I can't say who sounds like y'all, but you sound like all these people.
Like that beginning of the song that I wrote, take it all in, spit it back out.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's like
It is.
regurgitating what you've witnessed.
Oh, yeah. What you've pulled in through the years through your headphones. There's some little smoky.
That's some Kaneka sausage
Kaneka.
at Paul Gamble's
That's
house.
Paul Campbell's?
Yeah. When we
I
got
know.
there that
He's
night,
a good cook.
yeah, he cooked us gumbo, man, and man, it was good. They had oysters in it and all kinds of stuff.
That is a
Sausage.
great musical couple right there now. They are musical
What's the story behind that guitar? Like,
benefactors.
He made it. I mean, it was already a guitar. Like
he painted it.
there's a actual
Kiln.
Kendall
Oven.
pottery.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that art.
You
that's
remember
on
them
it.
crosses that we gave away on
Yeah.
Graham
And
Parsons?
it's Graham Parsons
virtual
themed.
thing?
The guitar is
He's
Graham
the one that
Parsons
made
themed.
those
That's
crosses,
right.
and he just.
He's got Dave's same tattoo, but it's on his top of his forearm.
Oh, I
right
see
there.
that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the dog. I didn't notice that the other night. I was going to say, I heard you.
They had they said you got two rooms, the Milledgeville history room, which is one Connor ended up with, and I ended up in the Abe Partridge room. And it was like all Abe Partridge art in there.
Yeah, you got an Abe T-shirt on there and some Abe
Yeah.
Santa Clauses or something on the mantelpiece. Big well, they live in Mobile now. They were originally from Carrollton area, I believe, and then they moved out to Mobile. Him and Laureen Flanders, very music aficionados, knowledgeable. They've been attending the Graham Parsons Guitar Pool since probably, I don't know, 2011, 12 or something like that, when they first started coming, and just beautiful people. He usually donates some guitars to the festival to raffle off, and they're just
An art
big
potter.
fans and big music lovers. Got a lot of knowledge about it, a lot of love for the songwriting end of it too.
Yeah, they're great.
He's the one that came up. Him and her was the one that came up with a nickname for the guitar pool. Call it the Gramley Reunion.
Mhm.
So they always contributing something to, if not just good old friendship. They're coming up with food. Kaneka sausage. Just the sound of that. Yeah, but the Pine Box dwellers skint it back in Mississippi. And I'm going to tell you something. That's a long highway from Hattiesburg to Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was ever going to end. Whew. Driving
Y'all
through.
drove it straight, didn't you? We
Oh, my God.
We drove to Mobile, which was far enough, and then drove an hour and a half the next day.
Oh, God.
But the next day we woke up and drove to Athens.
Yeah.
You did too.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We thought y'all went home. We didn't know where y'all ended up.
Well, it took us enough. we were going to branch off and go to Philadelphia, Mississippi. I stopped in
What?
Philadelphia, Mississippi. Marty Stewart.
From there?
Home place, and he started a museum there called the Congress of Country Music, like Philadelphia, the Congress of Country Music. And I could not get
Signal?
Wi-Fi signal anywhere on that road in Mississippi. I guess the infrastructure hadn't got to them yet.
They got to pump in Wi-Fi.
And I'd have to go back. I drove took a left in this town. It was Meridian, Mississippi, home of Peavy. I took a left and headed out the highway towards Philadelphia, thinking we can make this. But I don't know how far Philadelphia is because the map wasn't working. Finally got to a couple of miles out, finally got to a mileage sign that said Philadelphia, 35 miles. And I said, I ain't driving 35 miles if I don't even know the place is open.
Yeah.
So then we backtracked, started stopping at every little place. Say, you got Wi-Fi? And I'd stand in there, nothing happened. We had to drive all the way back to Meridian, stopped in McDonald's, went inside, got the Wi-Fi, found out Congress of Country Music was closed on Saturday. Well, we just lost a whole hour right there. And then it was about lunchtime, so then we pulled off, headed back to the interstate, and there was a Mexican restaurant. So we just can't pass them up. The Mexican restaurants are as good as Indian restaurants.
They're a funnel a dozen.
Yeah, you can get some bad ones, but this one was excellent. And we both ordered a steak ranchero, side order of salad with guacamole. And that was the best guacamole I think I've ever had. And
Guacamole's guacamole.
This was even better.
It's spicy.
And no, it was good. It was just had a flavor to it. A lot of them don't have a kind of bland, but this one had a melt in your mouth kind of. And of course, the old frozen margarita that I always loved to get.
Margarita mudslides.
With mucho salt.
No salt on the rim.
And so there was another hour there eating on that. So we lost a good 2 hours in Meridian, Mississippi, put us on the road, and it was turning dark by the time we hit Atlanta traffic. And that right there will wake you up in a hurry.
I hate
God, it's terrible. It's like looking at them signs as they flying by. Oh, my God, I got your rap's working then. It says 1.3 miles, got to get over to the left. And I'm way over here now. It's hair raising.
Remember that time we were coming back from
God, and that thing spun out. It was like a wheel hub or something.
It was like a car part. It fell off, and we're like doing 80 bumper to bumper everywhere. And all of a sudden, you just see some black
sparks
thing come from
skidding
under a
across
car
the pavement,
and
we
under my minivan, and it hit one of those wells that hold the seats that fold down under it. And we didn't know that's what it hit, but it hit under my car like a war has started. Like, bah! And we had to get over all those lanes to get over. And that's what, and that well was just dented in from whatever we hit. It was like an engine block.
Think about what they had to experience after losing that. Ain't no telling what happened to them.
Or who got hit behind us.
God knows that's the thing
that wake you up.
That's the things about that you don't know on a drive like that, high speed driving like that. Is just like when somebody gonna lose something, their mind or a part or a tire or even your car. What if it happens
I've dodged
to your
tires.
car?
I've dodged them bouncing tires coming at you. Yeah, they will cut you in half like hot butter.
But yeah, it was a great weekend, and we followed them to Nowhere Bar at Athens the next night, and Scotty Nicholson and Adam Poulin,
Yeah, it was
fiddle and keyboards. Man, it was a good show. George was there. The owner of the Nowhere Bar was there briefly. We left there. We closed it down and didn't have a room or anything, so we sat across the street
I didn't have a room.
with Scotty
I didn't know that.
and sobered up. And while we were there, this vagrant from around Warner Robins area was there, drunk and poor mouthing. All my buddies left me. My truck's at their house. I ain't got my phones in the truck. I don't know. What's King Street? Scotty said, go 2 blocks down, take a right, and keep walking. And he just sat there, and I pulled my guitar out and was playing songs and all. He just started pulling money out, tipping me. Ended up with $25 from that poor old boy. And he was hanging around to get a ride. And
So he wasn't homeless or nothing.
no, he was just, he got caught
I thought he was shooting you a line of bull or something like.
He got
my
caught.
wife's pregnant.
He was drunk, and all of his buddies probably turned their backs on him for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He was drunk, and they all left, and he was out there trying to pick up women, and it just didn't work out for him. So he joined us on the corner and tipped me $25 and was hoping either my car or Scotty's car would take him to King Street. And we both said, man, I ain't got room. And Scotty said, man, I'm sorry, man. Because, you don't know.
Right. Ted Bundy. So where'd y'all sleep?
Oh, we just hit the road and drove to Savannah.
What? Why? Stayed
Got
at a
us-
room there.
Got
huh?
us a room there. Spent the night there. One more night. That's what we like to do sometimes.
Wow.
We're not ready for a weekend to end. So we went down to River Street that night and listened to a solo music performer.
Y'all made it there in time to hear somebody play that night?
Hell, no. We made it there Sunday morning at 11
Got a room, but you couldn't get a room.
and got a room immediately.
How? They don't let you in till 3?
She said, I got a secret for you, baby. She said, you want to join the Best Western? No, she said, you want to join the Quality Inn Awards program? I said, don't cost a thing. If you join, I can check you right in at 11. I said, join me. And
Then she come in with crackers and she pajamas.
she
I didn't
said,
mean join me.
She said, here's your room right there. Here's your Wi-Fi password, and here's your guacamole. The crack is going to
She
cost
come in with a party tray.
Yeah. Pate. Here's the pate. Yeah. So that was a long weekend, that Mississippi All-Star weekend. You got some songs? Got anything new?
I don't got anything new. I ain't had time to slow down like you. You don't slow down either.
Oh, God
You ride on
knows,
the go.
man. I am writing. This is bizarre.
You've always written.
No, not like this. This is like...
Well, you got the spotlight, buddy.
No, I can't. I ain't.
Can't do 'em?
I've written them so fast I don't know them. I ain't learned them. But Daddy's house, going out there, is because I just totally shut off from anything. I still don't have a phone. Being out there's no Wi-Fi, and it's just television.
You don't have to. You can sit there and write a song in front of him. You don't feel weird.
No. He's got a Takamine that me and Mama bought him for Christmas one year back in the 90s. I think we bought it from Ronnie Griffin, the old guitar luthier from Waycross. Ronnie had one. It was Takamine.
Your dad plays?
He fancies playing. And it's great sounding guitar. And he said, that one's going to be yours one day. Yeah. But anyway, I've been using that when I get down to, but the lyrics, the words are just flying out there. And some of it has to do, we talk about inspiration for songwriting on here a lot. I've been reading a book that Linda G. Hudson, who we stayed with when we played Grant's Lounge in Twigs Digs up in Danville, Georgia, outside of Macon. When we were there, before we left that Sunday, she said, I'm reading this coffee table book about the songs of Willie Nelson. He comments on the songs throughout the book. It's a big old book. So I'm reading that along, and damn, Willie is a dadgum Zen master. I mean, he's Will Rogers. He's just like thoughtful and, philosophical and high on weed, and all of it just, comes out. A lot of people gave me crap for writing Hello Walls because they said, that's stupid. You talking to the house. And then when Fair and Young cut it and went straight to the top, they all said, smart. He's got some great little one-liners in there, and some of the songs are pulled straight from inspiration from that, And others, Lynn was over there. She took me over there and dropped me off on Monday, and then come back Thursday and pick me up. Spend 3 nights with Daddy. On Monday, she was telling Daddy, she said, my granddaddy was the sheriff of Pearson, and him and Grandma lived in the courthouse right next to the jail. And she says, she used to let one of the prisoners out to iron the clothes. Thinking, wait a minute. Now there's a John Prine song if you ever wanted one. So that was one that I wrote this week. They're just bloom, bloom. They're just dropping.
That's awesome.
And pull his guitar out, and sit outside because he runs the TV at a very high volume, and go outside and try to throw music to him. But it sure is fun. The well ain't dry yet. Here's...
Well, I was going to ask you what your theme for your Tale of the Week is.
Yeah, I was going to use a birthday Tale of the Week, but I've already used all of them on here. So instead, I
was going to see if... Never mind. Just go ahead.
If the fire was...
No. I was going to see if whatever you was writing about, maybe I had a song to go with it or something.
Well, let's see.
I doubt it, because you won't stop being a griffin long enough.
I ain't going to divulge, but see if you can write something to this.
Just go ahead.
I bet you get something out of the first sentence. Well.
Yep.
Well. Dog days of summer are upon us. Dog. The Greeks and the Romans were the first to note that the hottest times of the year in relation to the dog star Sirius, which appeared to rise just before the sun in late July. Down here in South Georgia, it gets hotter than a set of jumper cables at a redneck funeral. We're used to it, though. Life goes on. Most school systems nowadays start the school year in early August. In my days, we didn't go back till after Labor Day. So the dog days of August was spent getting in a last-minute vacation at Fernandina Beach, Florida, or floating lazily down the cool brown water of Satilla River, or lounging around the house, listening to Eric Burden and the Animals album, Winds of Change. That was a great album.
Good album.
Bad album. Unless you were on the football team or in the marching band. I was in the latter as a snare drummer. Upon entering the 9th grade in 1967, I had to make a choice as to what my elective course would be. I only had to choose between physical education, chorus, or band. I'd already spent a year and a half at Monroe Junior High in Tampa, Florida, dressing out daily for PE, exercising, showering, and returning to class. I was done with that. Chorus? Well, as far as I was concerned, I wasn't no singer and was way too bashful to open my mouth in a crowd. That left band. I chose the snare drum and learned to beat the thing properly under the tutelage of first-year band director John R. Bowles. My classmates that freshman year were Eston Dukes and Joe Fleming, trying their damnedest to learn the trumpet. Grady Herndon on clarinet, my future college roommate Robin King, and Deborah Harrington on sax, and Kenny Smith, already a local drummer in a rock and roll band, who helped me immensely. As beginning band students, we weren't allowed in the marching band until we mastered our instruments. But in the final halftime show of the 1967 football season, I donned a Mexican poncho and played the daylights out of a cowbell at Memorial Stadium during a performance of Siboney, a 1929 classic Cuban song by Ernesto Lecuona. There he is, pondering Siboney. August 1968 marked my first Dog Days band camp. The 2 weeks leading into the new school year were spent all day, Monday through Friday, putting together the pieces of our debut halftime show. We would rehearse in a grass field next to the freshman classrooms of C Hall, learning the mechanics of marching. Dress right, dress left, about face, mark time, left flank, right flank, freeze, parade rest, guillotine drill. By the end of the day, we were as tired as dogs. And of course, attention for extended periods. No. And of course, with any maneuvers requiring group execution and attention to detail, there were penalties to pay for goofing off, like standing at attention for extended periods or drop and give me 20 push-ups. In the Waycross, Georgia heat, we also learned a few safeguards, as obvious as drinking plenty of water and Gatorade. I don't know if Gatorade was even out then. You remember? Was it the 70s, early 70s? I think so, too. Florida, University of Florida came up with that one. As obvious as drinking plenty of water and Gatorade, and as unobvious as not locking your knees while standing at attention at the risk of passing out, a precaution that I've never in my adult life had to resort to. John R. Bowles replaced the lovable old Charlie Griffin, who had been at Ware County High since the school's beginning. The old military-style uniforms of gold were as musty and stale as Charlie's leadership was. So the decision was made to hire a new band director whose dedication and enthusiasm for the music was exciting and infectious. When Bowles took over as band director, there were about 40 members in the Gator Gold and White Band. By 1971, the band had doubled in size. The band, in 68, with the support of the Ware County Band Boosters, we purchased brand new uniforms. Look at him.
Mm-hmm. That's like Connor.
That looks like Connor.
Yep. Face. Completely.
Brand new uniforms, Shako cylindrical military hats with a gold W festooned across the front. Gold blouses with puffy sleeves, white gloves, white ascots, and white cummerbunds.
And that was where I went to junior high. That was your high school.
Right. That was out front. With gold sash around the waist. White pants with black stripes accented with gold down the legs. And finally, finished off with white shoes.
Was green not part of the color scheme?
Not back then. It was gold and white back then. Yep. The drum section I marched in was made up of a cast of characters over the years. Frank Hendricks, Jake Lee, who's the daddy of Jason Lee, Steve Harris, William Bug Wilson, nicknamed Bug, Terry Chansey, Jimmy Duncombe, Hugh Hobbs, Janet Chastain, wife of Charlie Chastain. She was Janet Taylor in high school. Jimmy Blaylock, Mike Sowell, Alton Musgrove, and Frankie Nicastro. During the early weekends of the 1970 school year, our determined drum crew scoured the neighborhoods of Ware County, collecting empty soda bottles and exchanging them at the local bottlers for enough cash to buy drum heads colored in gold glitter. I'm certain it made us play better. By my senior year, I had become an avid collector of record albums, one of my favorites being Chicago's second release, featuring the hit song 25 or 6-4. I brought the album to Mr. Bowles and asked if he would consider scoring the song for the marching band to perform. He did, and it was a lot more current than Ernesto Lacona's Siboney. Some of my standout memories are marching through the streets of Waycross during the Christmas parade, deftly dodging the lumps of horse manure in my path. Why they always put us behind the horses. The heavy snare drum that was strapped around my shoulder would beat up and down mercilessly against my left leg, which was way too skinny for any leg rest to fit around. The leg rest attached to the drum and was supposed to hold it in place while you went up and down. Instead, every time my leg went up, the snare drum went out. And when it came down, the snare drum came banging into my leg. Them things was big, too. After the parade would find me at home, soaking a multicolored thigh bruise in a bath full of Epsom salts. Over the summer of 70, leading up to my senior year, I took a job in the advertising department of the Waycross Journal-Herald, working alongside Bud McCleskey and under the watchful eyes of Mr. Markey, Mr. Towns, and Morris Johnson. The job required me to give up band camp, after-school rehearsals, and Friday night halftime shows. I chose a paycheck over band, but as the dog days of August rolled back around, I was missing the joys of gearing up for what would be my final season of football performances. I hatched a plan to have it both ways, but I needed the help of senior classmate Graham Dukes, Jr., drum major of the marching band. He and I had both opted for early class our senior year, allowing us to get our school day underway and over with an hour before everyone else. So from 1:30 to 2:30 every afternoon, I'd line up by myself on the practice field beside C Hall as my buddy Graham would walk me through the twists, turns, and fancy formations that the band would be performing Friday night at the halftime show. It would have been a bizarre sight for any first-year student staring out the windows of Herbert Harrell's algebra class, watching two grown boys counting out footsteps to a non-existent symphony of brass, woodwinds, flutes, and percussion. But thanks to Graham Dukes, I made it through the entire football season and kept my job as well, at least for a little while. Had it not been for the December 28th CBS television coverage of the annual Blue-Gray Football Classic, to which the Gold and White Gator Band was invited to perform, my boss man, Morris Johnson, would have never known I was marching up and down the field at the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama that Monday evening, because I'd called in sick, see. I guess having it both ways don't please everybody. He was a hard nose now. He was, when I took that job the summer before my senior year, I was still pretty much young and bashful. I didn't, I wasn't real outgoing.
You weren't
Cadillac
Dave yet.
Stuck to myself a lot, and just kind of kept it all, I'll speak when spoken to. And he was all about, you got to. Dave, let me tell you something. You need to push yourself out there. You ever heard of Dale Carnegie? No. Well, I took the Dale Carnegie course, and it was the best thing I ever did. Dale Carnegie make you get out there and relate to people and say something. I said, okay. And so he was that kind of personality. And then he was the one that watched the Blue-Gray game and saw my smiling ass. He said, when I hired on that job, he said, now you got to give up that band. I said, I'll do it. And then when it came down to it, I said, maybe I can do both. And I say it went smooth, till it got to that one game. The only time I ever asked off was that Monday to go to march in the football classic. And he saw me on TV, and when I got back, he said, I thought you'd quit the band. I said, well. And anyhow, he made me feel about like that. And I went home and told my daddy about it. Daddy, this is one of them moments that...
He pistol whipped him?
No, Daddy, he said, we're going down to your work tomorrow. Don't you worry about it. Daddy went down there and blessed him out. He didn't know... that Dale Carnegie course didn't do a damn thing for him that day because he was just on his back foot. He was on his back foot, So it's just maybe I was the one reading it all wrong. Maybe he was just he was browbeating hell out of me when I came back though to that job that next day, and my response to that was, I can't work here with that guy. And maybe he was just kind of like, he'd have forgot about it by the next day, probably, And
what are you talking about?
I'd have been fine. But the next day came along after I told my folks. And Daddy marched in there on him. I'll show you a marching band.
And you still kept your...
No, I didn't go back.
After that, it was
I left
over.
the job. I left it. It was done.
Dang.
And I went on the second half of my senior year and finished on my next big job was pick and save bag boy.
And we all know how that turned out.
I ain't a telling. Well, folks, that was the tale of the week, and we appreciate y'all watching, listening, and be sure you tune in for our 100th episode coming up November the 1st shortly.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun one. Appreciate y'all always. Keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on watching and share us with everybody that you see. and we'll see you again.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.